I'd imagine, and I think, Raymond, you might know better than I, but it looks like he was going to lay down, and he has that body armor set up on the fence so that he expected to be shot at.
Yes, he's got his protecting barrier. It's like his sandbags. He's in the middle of it. You can see him ready to go. So if they shoot at him, his body will be in the middle there, and then they'll take the deflection.
What's it called when in the prone position? Is that what it's called?
Prone, yeah. He should be prone.
You lay on your stomach and you're aiming forward, and then he's got the body. What looks like people said backpack, but that looks like he's got two different types of armor of some sort. For
they're ceramic plates. That's what they're
ceramic plates. That's what they're claiming. Wow. So he was expecting.
He's ready to go. He was ready.
Yeah.
To go.
He was expecting a shootout, which is, I think, all the more interesting. That
and filming it.
Right. He was prepared to, I think, sort of become famous. And, he did, he escaped from the scene and he had his car with a stolen plate on it. But apparently between the time the Bolo report went out, it was like 15 minutes when he was nabbed on Interstate 95. So it's interesting because there is a level of, like, to me, what says narcissism with the camera, but also preparedness. This is something that he was obviously thinking was high stakes. He wasn't just wandering onto the golf course. He came prepared. There are other reports that he had been there for like 12 hours.
If there was not someone there to take that pictures to let the police know, then he might have gotten away.
So the suspect, his name is Ryan Routh. I think that's how they're pronouncing it. He says in this book where he was talking about the assassination of Trump, which is creepy, that he's not a Democrat or Republican. But I just want to point this out. Daily Mail says a neighbor described the registered Democrat as unusual and was not shocked to learn that guns were involved. There's a Biden-Harris sticker on what they say is his vehicle. And they say he was a registered Democrat.
And he's apparently donated over, I think it's something like 19 times to Democrat causes. I mean, he can say whatever he wants, but his actions are pretty clear in which direction he was leaning. I think it's interesting that he could have been there for 12 hours. One of the other reports I was reading was saying, there's a chance that even though this guy is apparently from Hawaii, that he had tried to get onto the golf course before just to see what security is like. So even though we're hearing from Secret Service that this was sort of an off-schedule event, there wasn't a formal plan for Trump to be there. It was sort of maybe a last minute. They came up with the security I'm sure they have security protocol in place for him golfing. He golfs all the time. But it is interesting that somehow he would either get information that this was happening so last minute or somehow have been in the know enough to just be laying there and wait and get lucky.
Yeah, and apart from the donations too, before obviously social media websites scrubbed his accounts, people were, screenshotting. He was rabid, Trump derangement syndrome, supported BLM, the whole 9 yards. So, I mean, this guy was not a conservative by any stretch of the imagination.
We do have a quick fact check. Should say, maybe that's not the right way to phrase it, but Destin Kelly in the Super Chat saying it's not an AK, it's an SKS rifle. I'm not surprised the media got it wrong. So I will trust a random man super chatting into this show as a viewer who I believe this person is more correct, has a higher probability of being correct than the corporate press.
Well, especially the New York Post. If you remember, in the aftermath of the breaking news that this was happening, the New York Post reported that it was actually just two people firing at each other, had nothing to do with Trump, wasn't an assassination attempt. Of course, that turned out to be fake news. So don't trust the New York Post.
It was two people firing each other. It was just a Secret Service agent firing at a gunman who was...
Well, he didn't fire back, though.
He didn't fire back.
Yeah, so the initial reports were that he fired, they fired back. Now they're reporting he did not fire, they fired on him, he fled.
Crazy.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people are ragging on the Secret Service. I want to praise and commend them. I'm hearing people be like, how did this guy even get close enough to where the president was? Because it's a golf course. There's people all over the place. And he's walking on a private road where people are. The Secret Service scouted ahead in advance. That's what they should be doing.